So, not a lot of people here on the internet seem to like All Dogs Go to Heaven too these days, and in some ways I can't blame them. In trying to make a sequel to the original All Dogs Go to Heaven, the staff and cast had some rather deep paw prints to fill, whether they knew it or not. Heck, Don Bluth wasn't even involved in its production. Continuity got skewed, the tone got toned down, and this sequel continues the movie standard of never really surpassing the original film. Heck, in its own way, I don't feel a video essay for the sequel could quite live up to the standards of my All Dogs 1 video either. I still look back fondly on that one as a veritable magnum opus. It was the big video I knew I wanted to make, and truth be told, the editor and I have been in kind of a rut lately. Is playing Apologetics for a seemingly lackluster sequel even worth the time and effort? Or will this just feel like we've phoned it in, as the saying goes? Regardless, I press on. I know I can't change naysayers' minds about All Dogs 2, but this movie has a place in my heart nevertheless. After all, as I said last time, this was the first movie I saw in the whole series. If not for All Dogs 2, I'd have never seen the amazing All Dogs 1, let alone the cartoon series. So let's see where we left off with Charlie barking, shall we? Welcome back to my little slice of heaven, under this Savannah sun, as I try to offer my 2 cents, and jokes, about All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. This time, on Raziya Explains. So there were these 2 dogs living in the wondrous city of New Orleans. They were living in the Great Depression, doing what they could. One of those much was Carface, who ran this cool but crooked casino in an abandoned metal galleon. He didn't want to share half his earnings with his business partner, more on him later, so he got said unwanted business partner sent to the pound, and when that failed, he managed to put that partner to sleep. Too bad the partner got better. The partner was the other one, Charlie, the unwanted business partner to the crooked Carface. He had a taste in the arts, and a tarnished heart of gold deep down. Like, really deep down. He was successfully whacked, or offed, but managed to con his way back to Earth and a mortal life once more. After an adventure with a little orphan girl, who he used to backstab his killer and make his own casino, the glimmering gold of his good heart outweighed his ecstasy of gold. In the end, though he died once more, he was allowed into the realm of heaven, having sacrificed his life to save that little girl. Oh yeah, and Carface got vored by a ginormous fucking alligator. That's how he died. But as it were, while Charlie and Carface had left Earth, they didn't leave existence. After all, as a certain heavenly Whippet put it,
all dogs go to heaven because unlike people, dogs are naturally good and loyal and kind.
Yay, Nepo puppies. Much time had passed since those dark days in New Orleans. A few decades, in fact, as we'll soon discover. Now that we know these 2 dogs passed, we can now bear witness to their presence. All Dogs 2 opens with Carface, decked in proper celestial raiment, chatting with a certain someone over a heavenly payphone. If he's in heaven already and could chat with anyone there, who could he be talking to? Bear in mind the lighting, and the conversation being had. I suppose while you could remove the dog from the criminal life, it seems the criminal life hasn't quite left our mafia dog asshole. That said, a few decades together it certainly helped to ease tensions between our former business partners, though. In fact, Carface has even won an award for how well he'd performed since his demise. But as we'll learn from this opening scene, neither he nor Charlie had quite changed as much as one might think. Charlie's bored out of his mind in heaven. Too saccharine, too peaceful. For a roguish dog like him, you get it. But first, we'll come to the big major critique point. They're opening the heavenly gates, and Charlie's running late for a very important date. As the deceased are reunited with their former surviving loved ones, so too is Charlie reunited with Itchy. Itchy. Is this a wiener dog or a turtle to have lived to see payphones and perish from chicken bones? Okay, that fact is surprisingly dark, but moving on. As we saw in the original film, death would mean an immediate trip to and arrival at the hereafter. Given that dogs only live about 10 years, why would it take so long for Itchy to arrive in heaven? As it turns out, not every Christian sect believes the trip to heaven or otherwise is immediate. In fact, some believe the soul remains comatose until the end times, where the final judgment takes place. There's a fan theory for the All Dogs franchise that, because Charlie spectacularly broke the rules of staying dead, there may be a new policy for how long it takes the deceased to finally wake up and arrive at the pearly gates. We're given zero indication of this, hence it being a theory, but if so, who else would be unconscious after death for a while than the platonic life partner of he who broke the rules so spectacularly? Itchy's happy to be in heaven at long last. His short legs don't hold him back thanks to fancy new wings. Apparently humans were close, yet so far off about flies being diabolic. In this case, fleas are no longer here, and he now gets to spend eternity with his best buddy once more. Except, Charlie's sick of being dead. He goes on a whole musical number about why paradise isn't all it's cracked up to be. There's no thrills, no surprises, no challenges, nothing to accomplish, and no vices to be had in the meantime. And besides that, there's just something missing, but he can't quite put his paw on what. And while he's lamenting this absence, Carface manages to steal an important relic of heaven, the MacGuffin that much of the plot revolves around. Gabriel's horn, which is normally used to allow the deceased into paradise. As this is heaven, and the pink heavenly Whippet Annabelle, yes, she has a name now, as Annabelle at least claims to know everything, it's not long before she's ready to task one of the angel dogs to return to Earth to fetch the horn. And thus, the call to seek out what's missing in Charlie's afterlife has come. Charlie and Itchy are thus tasked with the task. Well, much to Itchy's dismay, he just got there after all.
Look at this mess, Itch. Trash, exhaust fumes, graffiti. We are home.
You know, I'd make a joke about not standing in front of a bus when just arriving to Earth, but that's a little Nicky reference, and the polar opposite for what we've got in mind here. Anyhow, the responsible Charlie makes his valiant efforts to beeline right to her Carface fumble to Gabriel's horn. Of course he doesn't. This is Charlie we're talking about. After the trip down from the clouds to a technical resurrection, he could use a drink. Perhaps the first he's had in decades for all one could guess. Thus our two stupid dogs sip on over to a local dog's bar. Much like in the original movie, All Dogs 2 has a peek into the secret life of dogs in this continuity. It's a cool concept. But it doesn't take either Charlie nor Itchy very long to realize why no one's giving them the time of day, or even night, or why Charlie cannot get crunk if the spirit flows right through him.
Charlie, look! We ate! Woo! We're ghosts!
Annabelle. Of all the rotten tricks!
Our heroes aren't the only dead dogs walking in the bar tonight. Speak of the devil, it's none other than Carface hanging out in his own corner, enjoying his time, and that he's apparently mortal once more? Turns out that the formerly reformed crooked-nosed guy has a magic collar around his neck. This allows him to be physical, it seems. Off to the junkyard to see Carface's fixer. Here we meet a weathered old fella named Red, a collector of knickknacks and a dabbler in the esoteric. Well, apparently any friend of Carface is a friend of his. Charlie and Itchy get hooked up with some of those magic collars themselves, no strings attached. Well, maybe more of a free trial to get them hooked. Now, there's something off about this particular peddler. I don't know what it is, but... well, I knew something was off about this. Hey, why the hell is the demon a cat?
That's racist!
Like last time, there's some more musical numbers to be had here. A little villain song, if you will. Not only is Red interested in getting his hands on Gabriel's horn for his own purposes, having been revealed to be Carface's contact in the Divine phone booth, but he's also uninterested in Carface's petty concepts of evil, putting on a whole song and dance about it. Come on, my fellow feline, fiendish or not, cut the has-been villain some slack. He's been out of the whole mob boss thing for decades now. In fact, he only offed Charlie through trickery, drunkenness and a jalopy from a would-be friend. And he framed him before in order to get him sent to the pound, and mostly bullied his thugs into attacking Charlie. In fact, Charlie beat his ass in a one-on-one fight during the finale of the first movie, and he died like a chump off-screen in the first movie too by being eaten by a flamboyant big alligator. Makes you wonder how much of a hard-ass Carface really was back in his heyday, huh? I know a lot of people really didn't like the pug being reduced to a punk-ass wannabe of the crook he used to be, and I can't blame him. But really, after barely getting his paws dirty and spending decades in heaven pretending to be reformed, can you really say how tough Carface had been without his cronies to back him up? Evil, sure, but really dangerous of his own accord. It's something of a villain decay, but it is what it is. Again, I certainly won't deny the fact that yeah, Carface definitely got censored and wussified here. But like I said, part of this video essay is meant to be playing devil's advocate for All Dogs 2. I'm just making an argument here, calling it as I see it. And speaking of which, back to the movie. Also, a little thing of note, it seems angels can hear the tune from Gabriel's horn passively, leading them to it as the need for the plot. Carface cannot, at least not anymore. Let's put a pin in that. Oh yeah, one more thing. Looks like Red addresses the favoritism in heaven. Good detail. So, back at the bar, I wonder what it's called. You know, the Flea Bite might be a great name for a joint like this. Or I could be predicting the future for the series, and here we are. Shh. There's another angel I missed. Sasha LaFleur. Introduced here, the Irish setter lass makes her appearance, singing an alluring song about how she's not interested in hooking up with the wrong kind of guy. Of course, lyrics are lost in Charlie. Perhaps now he's found what he's missing. Somebody to love. Alright, let's address the meta elephant in the room here. As one might expect, Sasha's usually on the tamer end of furry bait, as far as I know. Most of what I've found of her was someone's belly dancer fetish. It's kind of like that one guy who keeps getting pictures of giant fox and Falco. But yeah, careful where you look on the internet, kiddies. I don't want you to prove me wrong. So, back to the all-ages movie. Winning a singing contest paws down with first place. Sasha's song holds true. She'd only taken up the task for some free food, not for a date on offer by the judge. Sneaking some concessions and slipping away, Charlie and Itchy tailored to try and introduce themselves. Well, mostly Charlie. Itchy's been much more of a straight arrow thus far, and one who really wants to go back to having a happy afterlife. After all, he only just got a taste of it before taking the spiral slide back down to the suffering of mortal life. Not keen on being followed, Sasha's sticking up for someone in her care as well. A kid she's looking after. Can't be too bad, though. We all know how Flo's puppies from the original movie loved their Uncle Charlie. Good thing he's not bad with human kids either. That one took a bit of effort, but he still got there, didn't he? This is David. He's a runaway from home, troubled by the prospect of being replaced by his stepmom's future baby. He's pretty good at magic tricks. Sasha's certain he's still loved, and despite wanting to keep him well with food and shelter, she knows it's best for him to return home. Trouble is, she can't quite convey that to him. He's just a little boy. Bitch, he's not even 12. And she's a dog. Dogs don't talk, right? Okay, there's an exception. A ghostly dog from heaven given a new body through magic. But still, playing translator for Sasha's going to get pretty annoying, won't it?
One miracle coming up.
Of all the arrogant, presumptuous, egotistical mutts I've ever met, now you talk.
Never mind. Oh wait, there's something I forgot to bring up, given how inconsequential it was till now. Charlie was given all of one miracle in case he needed it before heading down to Earth, and he just used it. Well, damn. At least he doesn't have to play translator now. Sasha can now speak human. Cool beans. Let's move on. Have the villains been doing anything else yet? Let me check the script. I don't want to make the same mistake from last time. Oh, there is. It's something important. Some Carface and Red have taken up residence in a famous prison island called Alcatraz. The historic importance of such has been lost on me, not being of Earth myself. Apparently he's getting a lot of jail cells for, something they haven't quite explained yet. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. From a little heart-to-heart with Charlie, our cunning canine has taken up the role of being a guardian angel. Improvised, of course, and probably just as a way to hang out with Sasha, but still. He and Itchy are gonna help bring Davy back home, but first, a detour. A heavenly timbre, audible only to angel ears, is caught by her Chevy. Seems the horn was taken to the local police station lost and found. With some sneaking around, and we the audience seeing David's parents filing a missing child report. Charlie eventually is able to retrieve the missing MacGuffin, but not before one of the cops notices David and it's the missing kid. Hijinks and chase scene ensue. And forgive me if this has been done before, because I sure can't let the cityscape go down in Frisco without this.
Rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go, gotta follow my rainbow. Can't stick around, have to keep moving on. Guess what lies ahead? Only one way to find out. Must keep on moving ahead. No time for guessing, follow my pen instead.
That was fun, wasn't it? Mission accomplished. Now, how to return to heaven with the horn exactly? We won't find out just yet, because Uncle Charlie's got another idea in mind. Knowing that David's got some skill in stage magic, he proposes to let the kid have some fun on Easy Street, among other street performers. Another musical number begins, and before long, David shows off his stuff as a busker. And it goes pretty darn well, too. Until it doesn't. Ah, darn. Yeah, can't win them all. You did good, man cub. The mood dampens amidst the storm, as a boy and his dogs flee back to the pier. It's confirmed that David's mother is among the angels herself, having passed away prior to our story's events. And we're reminded that, thanks to his stepmom having conceived a new child, he no longer feels welcome. And Sasha tries to cheer him up, reminding him that a parent can love more than one cub. As for Charlie, we learn a little bit about his own backstory. He had run away from home when young, never saw his own parents again. This heart-to-heart, David is now ready to head home. I know. They pulled that little fact about Charlie from thin air, huh? We really didn't know much of his backstory from the original film either. He'd been a scamp and a tramp for the longest of time, but other than a name drop from his parents from his life's written record, we really never learned much about his youth. I'm sure you've guessed by now this is another point I want to make about why the sequel can be a little haphazard, but I still like the sequel. After his experiences with Anne-Marie, it seems like Charlie was truly the one to turn over a new leaf, not Carface. Here though, due to that experience with Anne-Marie, Charlie isn't here to exploit David for his own gain, like he'd done before. His diversion on Easy Street was only to let the kid have fun, and to let his talent shine for fun and profit, not even for Charlie's profit either. Itchy returns soon enough with some Chinese takeout, and the group chows down, mending their moods and filling their bellies. And then, well, with only about a third of the film left, we get to this next scene. Having sulked away from the fun, Charlie's approached by Sasha. It's there that he comes clean to her about his intentions. And I'll just let a rogue with a heart of gold speak for himself here.
Nice work, Charlie Barkin. You really are an angel.
No, I'm not. Not a guardian angel, anyway.
What you did for David was wonderful.
I'm not his angel. I'm just an errand boy sent to fetch Gabriel's horn. Sasha, my whole life has been about making and breaking promises. And now I'm gonna do it again.
You can't take him home?
I have to go back. Just when I finally found someone special.
And with another song, we're reminded that goodbyes aren't forever. In the short time they spent together, Sasha admits that she's happy to have met Charlie, even if he has to return to heaven. As all dogs go to heaven, where else would Sasha go anyway? Detroit? And after all, maybe it's not about loss, is it? It's about the time spent together, the love and the laughs, the highs and the lows. Whether it's about someone who's passed away, or grew apart, shucks doesn't even have to be about a person loved and lost. It could be a pet, or a TV show, a childhood toy, or a lovely melody you'd heard once on the radio. Why shed tears for something that was never loved, never missed in the first place? Sorry for getting soft and mushy there. That was a little... is the word non sequitur? Oh, I can get that one right. Nevertheless, there's a pretty song and dance here between Charlie and Sasha. And here, I don't really know why these two regular dogs are about to kiss on the lips, but it's... Oh, damn it! The plot caught up to us! Well, at least it wasn't a quadrical music number out of friggin' nowhere, but this is the point of no return for the big finale anyway. Just like last time, I'll do a brief intermission. So yeah, Charlie's collar faded away inconveniently, and with it, so did his physical form. Did I mention something about a free trial earlier? If I did, I meant so. Only a day's worth of the magic before the collar wears off. Just like Charlie's collar, Itchy's also faded away, and he too returns to being a ghost. Determined to fulfill his promise to David, Charlie rushes back to Red's curio shop for another one. Red isn't willing to give Charlie another collar so easily. Nothing comes free in the world of the living, but Charlie does have something he can offer in exchange. In a facepalm worthy gambit, he offers Gabriel's horn unhawked to Red, and so falls right into his claws. With the demon cat revealed, Charlie once again shirks retrieving the horn. He has to find David, the sole reason for making a deal with Red for another collar. Itchy confronts him about it, and meanwhile, David tries to catch a train with Sasha, only to run into Carface, who whisks him away. Charlie is given an ultimatum. Bring Gabriel's horn to Alcatraz, or, well, you can read, yes. So he does, and Red gets what he wants. Using the horn, he inverts the pearly gates into a diabolical portal, sucking the souls of deceased dogs from heaven into a sinking Alcatraz. And while not explicitly stated, it can be implied that this is Red's plot, to send the dogs of heaven straight to hell with him. Knowing he's made a grave mistake, Charlie doubles back from the others to try and fix things. Luckily for him, the others also follow and save him from the fatal pounce. They learn Red is diabolically hot and, like many cats, is not fond of water. Itchy snatches the horn bravely, doubles back for his friends, and successfully dupes Red into giving Charlie a head start to escape outside. Annabelle pleads for him to play the horn, and thus Red is on the prowl after our cunning canine once more. In a mad climb up the water tower, Charlie gets an idea from his friend's save. He dives backward into the massive whirlpool, and Red gets doused from a desperate lunge to get the heavenly artifact back. Partly getting pulled back into the inferno, the fiend sets his sight on the mortals David and Sasha. But in the nick of time, Charlie does it. He plays the horn, and with its tune, the captured dogs return to heaven, Red is pulled back into hell, and Alcatraz is restored back to normal. The day is saved. Oh yeah, remember that pin I put in about Carface not being an angel anymore? Turns out he lost more than the bottom of his shoes to Red. Sucks to be him. Beginning to rise back up to heaven, Charlie and Itchy stop midway. For his heroic deed, very quickly forgiven for his latest royal fuck-up, I might add, Charlie is given a new lifetime and a proper resurrection. Itchy, however, elects to return to heaven and enjoy paradise. And so, our earthbound doggo returns to his loved ones. There's a dialogue error for David's stepmom, but what's meant is that she was indeed worried for him and is happy to have him back. We're given a short and sweet ending where Charlie and Sasha finally get that kiss. Hip hip huzzah. And thus, the credits roll. So, I will admit that in spite of everything I mentioned the way I did, this movie does indeed have its flaws. If anything, I feel the sequel acts a lot like the second Disney Aladdin movie does. It kind of acts like a veritable pilot for the cartoon series. Be that as it may, I can't quite get myself to hate All Dogs 2. It may not hold a candle to the original All Dogs Go to Heaven, but I'd like to look at the sequel as a kind of feel-good popcorn flick. And believe me, my favorite movies are popcorn flicks. It may be mid, as the kids might say, but the funny thing is, things are allowed to be mid. Not everything has to be perfect to be enjoyable, and a true fan can admit the flaws of the things they love. Just like the movie, I'll let this outro be short and sweet as well. If you're up for it, consider giving this movie a try. You won't know whether or not you like it till you do, yes, and who knows? Maybe you might not find it so bad. Either way, thanks for stopping by for another video essay, hosted by Lion and Scarlet. Yours truly. Later.